Tied up thoughts like a safe filled with guns. Empty promises like the front pew at church. A shattered heart being mended by no one. Is it okay for a grown man to cry? Is it okay to ask someone for help? Is it okay to be drowning under pressure? Is it okay to cry? I try to keep
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Healing Connection. I'm your host, Joy McBride. I do want to start off by saying that today's episode will probably be the longest, but the most impactful one that I have done to this day. I've decided to do this one now because I've had two of them happen in less than a week. I've had two suicides, one that I know of and one that is a personal friend of ours, and it really laid an impact. So I want to give you a fair warning what today's episode is. I know it's not going to be easy, but I promise you, if you stick with me through this whole thing, I hope and pray that you find help or that you can help someone with questions or answers or whatever I may be able to offer in this episode. But please stick with me as we get through this, because today's episode is called When Why Has No Easy Answer, Finding Hope, Help, and Peace After a Suicide Loss. Like I said, before we begin, I want to let you know that today's episode discusses suicide, grief, traumatic loss, and the difficult emotions people may experience afterwards. Please take care of yourself by listening to this. You may need to pause. You may need to listen with someone you trust. You may decide today is not the right day to hear all of this. That is okay. Any of it is okay. And if you are listening because you're thinking about suicide, feel that you cannot keep yourself safe, or afraid you may act on those thoughts, please stop what you're doing and text 988 now. You can even call 988 now. Please do not hesitate. Just do it. You do not have to explain everything perfectly. You can simply say, I am not safe by myself right now, or I'm thinking about suicide and I need help getting through this moment. And this goes for anybody: veterans, first responders, spouses, caregivers, children. Anybody that's in your circle can call 988 or text 988 and somebody will be with you. If you're having a hard time, which I find hard to believe, but if you do have a hard time, the next number you can text is 838255. Do not stay alone with an immediate crisis. Move away from anything you could use to hurt yourself. Get near another person. Call 911 or go to the nearest emergency department if you are in immediate danger, if you can. If you don't feel like you can, then don't do it. Just call. Your life matters more than fear of bothering someone. It matters to me. Everyone matters to me. This may be one of the hardest conversations we have, and something that we have kind of touched on a little bit here and there in Healing Connection. But I wanted to bring that up to you. This is a conversation that we do need to have, because when someone dies by suicide, people left behind often find themselves standing in the middle of a life they no longer recognize. Everything may look the same house, same road, same kitchen table, same photographs, same clothes hanging in the closet, but nothing feels the same. There's suddenly a before and an after. Before phone call, before a knock at the door, before the discovery, before the words that change everything, and after. After they are gone, after the questions begin, after the shock starts wearing off, after everybody else seems to return to normal life while you are still trying to understand how the world can keep moving. You may be asking yourself, why did they do it? What did I miss? Could I have stopped it? Was it something I said? Was it something I did not say? Why did they not call me? Did they know I love them? Is this my fault? What am I supposed to do now? Where do I go? What do I tell the children? What am I supposed to feel? How do I cope now that you are gone? How do I go back to work? How do I sleep? How do I walk into their room? How do I face a birthday, holiday, anniversary, or an ordinary Tuesday without them? Why are there so many questions and so few answers? I will not insult your pain by pretending this episode can answer every question. Tell you right now, it cannot. Sometimes the hardest truth about suicide loss is that we may never receive one complete answer to the question of why. But we can talk honestly about the questions. We can talk about what grief may look like. We can talk about guilt. We can talk about children. We can talk about what to do in the first hours, days, weeks, and even months. We can talk about how to help someone through this. We can talk about hope. We can talk about peace, not the kind of peace that erases the person, not the kind that demands that you move on, not the kind that pretends that this did not change you. I mean, the kind of peace that slowly helps you breathe once again. The kind that allows love and grief to exist in the same way. The kind that says, I may never understand everything what happened, but I do not have to destroy myself trying to solve what I cannot fully know. Before we go any further, if you're listening to this at home, I would like for you to do this. Put both feet firmly on the floor. Notice where you are. Look around the room. Take one slow breath. In, hold it, and out. One more. In, hold, and out. You are here. You are listening. And for this moment, you do not have to carry this alone. So, as I get ready to get into this, part one, why did they do it? This is usually the question that comes first. Why? Why did they do it? Why did they not tell me? Why did they think about the people who love them? Why did they leave us with this? Why did they believe death was the only answer? These questions are very painful because they are attempts to bring order to something that feels impossible. Your mind wants a clear explanation. One event, one conversation, one warning sign, one cause, one thing you could point to and say, that is why. But suicide is rarely the result of a single moment or one simple cause. A person may have been experiencing unbearable psychological pain, depression, trauma, substance use, hopelessness, shame, relationship problems, financial pressure, physical illness, sleep problems, isolation, or a combination of difficulties that narrowed their ability to see other options. That does not mean they do not love you. It does not mean you were not important. It does not mean their family was not enough. It means their ability to see hope may have become overwhelmed by pain. We should be careful here. We cannot know exactly what another person was thinking unless they told us. Even a note may not answer everything. Sometimes a note creates more questions. Sometimes there is no note. Sometimes the person appears calm. Sometimes they talk about the future. Sometimes they laugh the day before. Sometimes they told someone they were fine. And that makes the loss even more confusing. You may be looking backwards now, examining every conversation, every text, every facial experience, every missed call, every change in behavior. You may be replaying the final days as though there is a hidden answer you will discover if you review them enough times. But grief can turn memory into an interrogation room. It places you on the witness stand and asks you questions no human being could answer with certainty. What if I had called? What if I had stayed longer? What if I had noticed? What if I had said something different? What if I had not gone to work? What if I had checked that night? Those questions feel like responsibility. Often, grief creates a version of events where you had more control than you truly did. Because accepting that we could not control another person's private pain is terrifying. Blaming ourselves can feel more manageable than accepting helplessness. If it was my fault, your mind says, then maybe the world still makes sense. But the world does not always make sense. And love does not give us the power to see every hidden thought or prevent every tragedy. Part 2. Is it my fault? I want to answer this as carefully and directly as I can. A person's death by suicide is not carried on the shoulders of one surviving family member, friend, spouse, child, parent, coworker, or even battle buddy. You may have made mistakes in the relationship. Every human being does. You may have argued. You may have said something you regret. You may have missed a phone call. You may have needed space. You may have been exhausted. You may have not understood the seriousness of what they were experiencing. You may wish you had handled certain moments differently. Regret is not the same as responsibility for someone's death. You can feel regret without condemning yourself to a life of punishment. Maybe there were warning signs. Maybe there were not. Maybe some signs only looked obvious because now you know what happened afterwards. Hindsight changes everything. Once we know the ending, earlier moments can appear to point directly towards it. But if you did not have the ending then, you had the information available to you at that time. You were living forward. Now you are looking backwards. Those are not the same views. Survivors of suicide loss commonly struggle with questions about missed warning signs, guilt, anger, loneliness, and the reason for death. These feelings can remain intense change over time, and reappear around birthdays, holidays, and anniversaries. If you keep saying, I should have known, pause and ask yourself, what did I actually know then? Not what do I know now? What did I know at that moment? Was I given the full truth? Did I understand the level of danger? Was I trained to recognize it? Did the person hide what they were feeling? Was I also dealing with stress, illness, work, children, caregiving, trauma, or exhaustion? Would I judge another grieving person as harshly as I'm grieving and how harshly I'm judging myself? You may need to say this out loud. I wish I had known more. I wish I could have prevented it. I wish I I would have helped if I had understood. But wishing I had known is not proof of that I caused this. I'm going to say something that may really be difficult to hear. Your love was real, even though your love could not control the outcome. Love is powerful, but love is not mind reading. Love is not 24-hour surveillance. Love can always break through an illness, crisis, or state of mind that has conceived someone. There is no other way. That does not make your love a failure. Part 3. What did I miss? The question, what did I miss, can become relentless. It may wake you at night. It may return in the shower. It may appear while driving. You may hear a song and remember a conversation. You may find an old message and examine every word. You may remember that they gave something away, that they withdrew, that they seemed unusually calm. They stopped talking about the future. Or maybe you remember nothing that seemed unusual. Some warning signs may be visible, others may be concealed. People do not always communicate suicidal thoughts directly. And survivors are not trained investigators walking through life with the benefit of knowing what will happen next. You were a spouse, a parent, a child, a friend, a coworker, a brother, a sister, a battle buddy. You are not expected to decode every silence perfectly. This does not mean warning signs should be ignored. When someone talks about wanting to die, feeling like a burden, having no reason to live, feeling trapped, or experiencing unbearable pain, take it seriously. I need you to ask directly, are you thinking about suicide? Do not promise secrecy. Stay with the person if there is immediate danger. Contact 988 or emergency services right away. The 988 lifeline specifically advises being direct. Listen without judgment, not debating the person, not acting shocked, offering realistic hope, and involving crisis professionals. But knowing what to do in the future does not mean you are to blame for what has happened in the past. Education should become a tool for protection, not another weapon you use against yourself. Part 4. Why did they not call me? This question can feel like rejection. Why did they not call? Why did they call someone else? Why did they say nothing? Why did they leave without giving me a chance? I cannot tell you what your loved one was thinking. Nobody should pretend to know. But people in suicidal crisis may believe things that are not true. They may believe that they are a burden. They may believe others would be better off without them. They may believe nobody can help. They may feel ashamed. They may fear being stopped, hospitalized, judged, or exposed. They may be unable to imagine how permanent consequences will be for the people they love. Their failure to call does not prove you were untrustworthy. It does not prove they did not love you. It does not prove you did not matter. It may mean their thinking has become narrowed by pain. You may be never able to make another complete sentence of that. And part of your healing may involve learning to live without forcing a final explanation. Part 5. What am I supposed to feel? You may think grief is supposed to look like sadness, but suicide grief can bring almost every emotion imaginable: sadness, shock, anger, numbness, fear, confusion, guilt, relief, abandonment, love, disbelief, shame. You may be angry at the person who died, then you may feel guilty for being angry. You may feel relieved that their suffering is over, then you may feel guilty for that relief. You may laugh at something and immediately think, how can I laugh when they are dead? You may go on for hours without crying and wonder whether something is wrong with you. You may cry so hard you cannot even breathe. You may feel nothing. Numbness is not proof that you did not love them. Sometimes numbness is the mind's way of allowing reality to enter into pieces. You may also feel physical symptoms: tightness in your chest, exhaustion, headaches, changes in appetite, poor concentration, restlessness, sleep problems, a feeling that the world is unreal. You may walk into a room and forget why you are there. You may read the same sentence repeatedly. You may lose track of time. You may feel frightened when the phone rings. You may replay images or details you wish you could forget. Grief can affect mood, appetite, energy, sleep, and a person's sense of hope and control. The CDC recommends leaning on trusted people, creating a basic routines, caring for physical needs, honoring the person who died, and seeking professional support when needed. There is no single correct emotion. There's no perfect order. You do not have to choose between loving them and being angry. You can miss them and be furious. You can feel compassion for their pain and still hate what the death has done to the family. You can have moments of peace and still have waves of grief. You are allowed to feel what you're feeling without putting yourself on trial for every emotion. Part 6. Why are there more questions than answers? Because grief is not a mathematical problem, there may not be enough information to solve it. Even if you understood every diagnose, every stressor, every final conversations, and every event leading up to death, understanding would not necessarily remove the pain. Sometimes why means more than what caused this. Sometimes why means how can someone I love be gone? How can this be real? How can the world continue? Why was love not enough to keep him here? Why does my family have to carry this? Those are grief questions. They may not need a factual answer. They may need a place to speak. You may need someone who will sit beside you without trying to finish your sentence, without saying everything happens for a reason. God needed another angel. They are in a better place. You need to be strong. At least they are not suffering. It's time to move on. Even with well-intended words may feel like pressure to stop grieving. A better response may be, I am so sorry. I do not have the answers, but I am here. You can talk about it with me. You do not have to protect me from your feelings. What is today like for you? Would you like company, practical help, or quiet? I will check on you again. Sometimes comfort is not an explanation. Sometimes comfort is a person who does not leave when the conversation becomes uncomfortable. Part 7. What happens in the first hours and days? The immediate aftermath may feel chaotic. There may be police, emergency personnel, investigators, a hospital, a coroner or a medical examiner, phone calls, questions, family arriving, decisions about the funeral or the memorial, work notifications, insurance paperwork, news spreading before you are ready. You may be asked to make decisions while you can barely understand what is happening. Try not to handle everything alone. Choose one or two trusted people who can help you with calls, meals, transportation, children, visitors, and communication. It's okay to say, I cannot answer that question right now. Please contact this person for updates. We are not ready to discuss details. We need privacy. You do not owe everyone the full story. You may also need to protect from social media. Ask someone you trust to monitor posts or messages. You can wait before making a public announcement. You can decide what information your family is comfortable sharing. In the first days, focus on basic survival. Drink water. Eat something simple. Take your medicine as directed. Try to rest. Do not drive if you are shocked or too exhausted to concentrate. Avoid making major decisions that can wait. Let people help you with ordinary things. You may not know what you need. That is normal. When someone asks, what can I do? You can say, bring me a meal, sit with me, make these phone calls, help me with the children, walk the dog, drive me to an appointment. Please make sure I eat. You do not have to be a good host. You do not have to comfort everybody who comes to comfort you. Part 8. The funeral and memorial. Funerals after suicide can carry tension, additional tension. People may disagree about what to say. Some may want to complete honestly. Others may want privacy. Some may fear judgment. Some may feel shame. Some may want to avoid the word suicide entirely. Every family has to make decisions that fits its circumstance, culture, faith, and the needs of surviving children. But silence and secrecy can sometimes make grief more confusing. Honesty does not require a graphic detail. It means naming the death in a clear and a compassionate way. You can honor the person's entire life. Their death is a part of their story. It is not their whole identity. Talk about the humor, their service, their love, their music, their stubbornness, their kindness, their struggles, the way they show up, the memories that still make you smile. You do not have to turn the service into a lesson, and you do not have to hide every difficult truth. The goal is dignity, not perfection. Part 9. What do I tell the children? This is one of the most frightening questions adults face. What do I say? How much do I tell them? Will the truth harm them? What if they ask how it happened? Children need information that is honest, simple, age appropriate, and given by a trusted adult whenever possible. Avoid graphic details. Avoid language that makes death sound like sleep. Saying someone went to sleep and they did not wake up can make children afraid to sleep. You might say, Dad died, or your sister died. Then, depending on the children's age and understanding, they died by suicide. That means they caused their body to stop working because their mind was overwhelmed with pain. And in that moment, they could not see any other way. You can add, this was not your fault. You did not cause it. Nothing you said or did caused this. They love you. You are safe. You can ask me questions now or later. It's okay to feel sad, angry, confused, or even nothing at all. Children may ask the same questions repeatedly. That does not mean they were not listening. They may be trying to understand the answer in small pieces. They may grieve differently than adults. The children may cry and then go ask to play. They may seem fine and then become upset weeks later. They may worry that another family member will die. They may become clingy. They may have difficulty sleeping. They may struggle at school. They may act out. They may try to become the strong one so the adults do not have to have another problem to manage. Tell them clearly. You do not have to take care of the adults. Your job is to be a child. We're going to get help together. Does a school counselor or appropriate teacher know what happens so the children can receive support? Maintain routine whenever possible. Meals, bedtime, school, familiar activities can provide steadiness. Do not force the child to talk, but keep the door open. You can say, you never had to protect me from your questions. The child begins talking about wanting to die, wanting to join the person who did die, feeling responsible, or believe the family would be better off without them. Take it seriously and seek immediate professional support. The VA survivors resources include guidance for parents and caregivers talking with children about a suicide, death, along with military family bereavement resources for children. Part 10. What happens in the weeks afterward? The first day may be full of people, food arrives, messages come in, the phone keeps ringing, then the funeral ends. People return to work. The meals stop. The house becomes quiet. And sometimes that is when the loss becomes more real. You may wake up for a few seconds and forget, and then remember. You may reach for a phone to call them. You may hear a car and think they are home. You may walk past their room. You may see their shoes, their coffee cup, their coat, their name in your contacts. You may feel as though you are being injured again and again by ordinary objects. Do not rush decisions about belongings unless you need to do it. There is no rule saying you must clean the room immediately. There is also no rule saying you must leave everything untouched forever. Some people need to sort things. Others need months or years. Do what supports your healing, not what other people think grief should look like. Create basic structure. Wake up, drink water, take medication, eat something, shower if you can. You know what? Step outside. Answer one necessary message. Complete one task. Rest. Above all things, please rest. That may be enough just for a day. You're not failing because grief has reduced your capacity. You are surviving something enormous. Part 11. How do I cope now that they are gone? At first, coping may mean getting through 10 minutes, then an hour, then one morning. You do not have to solve the rest of your life today. Try to separate what must be done now from what can wait. Ask, what does this moment require? Maybe it requires water, a breath, a phone call, medication, food, sleep, company, a walk, a counselor, a a grief group, a prayer, a shower. Coping is not forgetting. Coping is building enough support around your grief that it does not have to carry you away. Here are some ways to begin. Find people who understand suicide loss. General grief support can help, but suicide loss brings its own questions, emotions, and fears. A support group for survivors of suicide loss may allow you to speak without explaining every reaction. Hearing somebody say, "I asked that too," can reduce the isolation. The American Foundation for Suicide Prevention offers suicide loss resources, peer conversations, and directories for local or virtual support groups. The VA also provides survival resources at no cost bereavement counselors through vet centers for eligible family members, chaplain services, a connection to military loss support. Consider trauma-informed counseling. Grief and trauma can overlap, especially if you witness death, discover the person, saw disturbing details, or are involved in emergency response. You may experience nightmares, flashbacks, avoidance, hypervigilance, panic, guilt. A trained grief or trauma therapist can help you process what happened without requiring you to relieve everything all at once. Give grief somewhere to go. Write letters to the person. Keep a journal. Talk aloud when you are alone. Create a memory box. Make a photo album. Plant something in their name. Participate in a memorial walk. Prepare their favorite meal. Tell stories. Say their name. You do not have to erase the relationship. Relationship changes. Love remains. Care for your body. Grief is physical. Eat regularly, even if food has little taste. You have to keep up your strength, so please make sure that you eat. Drink water. Limit alcohol or other substance. Try to maintain a sleep routine. Walk, stretch, sit in the sunlight. Ask a doctor for help if you cannot sleep, eat, function, or manage intense anxiety. Watch for your own crisis. Suicide loss can increase emotional distress, depression, trauma symptoms, and suicidal thinking in some survivors. If you begin thinking, I want to go with them, my family would be better off without me, there is no reason to continue, I cannot survive this, do not keep those thoughts a secret. Tell someone directly. Call or text 988. I will repeat that over and over. Call or text 988. Get near another person. Ask someone to secure firearms, medication, or other potentially dangerous items while you are in crisis. You are not being betrayed by the person who died by choosing to stay alive. Part 12. Anger at the person who died. Some survivors are afraid to admit this, but you may be angry. You may want to ask, how in the hell could you do this to us? How could you leave me to tell the children? How could you leave these bills? How could you leave your parents? How could you leave your battle buddies? How could you make me carry this? That anger does not mean that you do not love them. Anger may be part of the wound. It may sit beside sorrow, but you do not have to clean up your emotions before bringing them to counseling, prayer, or a trusted person. Say the truth. I love them and I am angry. I miss them and I feel abandoned. I understand they were hurting and I hate what happened. Those truths can exist together. You do not have to defend the person every moment. And you do not have to condemn them. You can allow complexity. 13. Shame and the fear of judgment. Suicide loss may bring fear about what people will think. Will they blame our family? Will they think we should have known? Will they gossip? Will they define my loved one by the way they died? Some people may say careless things. Some people may avoid you because they do not know what to say. Their discomfort is not proof that your family should be ashamed. Your loved one was a whole person. They had a name, they had history, they had a laugh, a favorite song, a story or stories. They had strengths. Everybody, and including them, had flaws. People who loved them. The death by suicide does not erase the years that came before, and it does not make your family a failure. Part 14. How this loss may change you. You may never be exactly the person you were before. That does not mean you will never feel whole again. It means traumatic loss changes the way a person sees life. You may become more anxious about other people. You may panic when someone does not answer the phone. You may become overly watchful. You may fear another loss. You may feel responsible for keeping everyone alive. You may notice every sad expression and wonder whether there is danger behind it. You may struggle to trust peace. You may become more compassionate. You may become involved in prevention work. You may want to help others, or you may want to do nothing with the subject for a long time. There is no requirement, meaning that you must create from the loss. You are not obligated to turn tragedy into a mission. But sometimes, over time, people discover ways to honor that person, helping others, supporting prevention, sharing a story, checking on the strong ones, speaking honestly about mental health, serving a community. That meaning should grow naturally. It should not be forced onto fresh grief. 15. Birthdays, holidays, and anniversaries. Grief often changes around important dates. The anniversary of a death, the person's birthday, your birthday, the holidays, Father's Day, Mother's Day, graduation, weddings, the first day of school, the day a child reaches the age their parents was when they died. You may feel the grief building before you consciously remember the date. Prepare in advance. Decide what you need. Do you want company, privacy, a memorial activity, a meal with family, a visit to a meaningful place, a break from tradition? It's okay to change plans. It's okay to leave early. It's okay to laugh. It's okay to cry. It's okay to include the person's name. It's okay not to make every special day about the loss. You are allowed to live. Part 16. What peace may look like. Let's talk about peace. After suicide loss, peace may feel uncomfortable. You may think peace would mean accepting what had happened, approving of it, forgetting the person, letting them go. But peace does not mean any of those things. Peace begins as one full breath without panic, one night with a little bit more sleep, one meal you can taste, one memory that brings a smile before it brings tears, one day when guilt does not control every thought. Peace may mean you stop trying to solve the unanswerable question every hour. Peace may mean saying, I do not know why everything happened the way it did. I wish the story had ended differently. I will always miss them. But I am no longer going to make myself the next casualty of this loss. That is not betrayal. That is healing. Peace does not ask you to stop loving them. Peace gives you love somewhere gentler to live. Maybe their memory becomes less connected only to the final day. Maybe you begin remembering the whole life again. The jokes, the trips, mistakes, the music, ordinary mornings, the way they smiled, the things that drove you crazy, the moments that made you very, very proud. Over time, death may stop occupying every corner of the relationship. Their life begins returning to the story. Part 17. What can friends and family do? To the person supporting someone after a suicide loss, do not disappear because you are afraid of saying the wrong thing. Say, I am sorry. I am here. I do not have the right words. I remember them. Would you like to tell me about them? Use the person's name. Check in after the funeral. Check in a month later, 3 months later, on the birthday, near the anniversary. Do not say, call me if you need anything, and assume the grieving person will know how to ask. Offer something specific. I'm bringing dinner Tuesday. Does 5 or 6 work better? Can I drive the children to school? Can I sit with you during the appointment? Can I help make phone calls? Can I come over and say nothing? Do not pressure them to forgive. Do not pressure them to find meaning. Do not tell them how long grief should last. Do not compare every loss. Listen. And remember that helping someone through suicide grief may bring up your own emotions. The 988 Lifeline encourages supporters to seek help for themselves when needed. Part 18. A message to veterans and first responders. I want to speak directly to veterans and first responders. We sometimes live in cultures where people are expected to carry hard things and keep moving. You may have responded to suicide scenes. You may have lost a battle buddy, a member of your unit, a partner, a coworker, someone you serve beside. You may carry grief mixed with professional training. You may know procedures. You may understand what happened physically, but that knowledge does not protect your heart. You may also carry survivor's guilt. Why them and not me? Why did I make it home? Why did I miss the call? Why did I not see how bad it was? As an Army veteran living with PTSD and TBI, I know that the mind can replay things. It can bring old pain into the present. It can tell us that asking for help is weakness. But I want to tell you something directly. You do not have to earn help by reaching the edge. You do not have to wait until grief becomes a crisis. Talk to someone who understands military or first responders culture. A peer, a chaplain, a counselor, a vet center, a trusted leader, a grief group. The VA states that survivors of a veteran or service member suicide may have access to no-cost vet center bereavement counselors, chaplain support, suicide loss resources, survivor benefit information, and other services. Strength is not pretending the death did not affect you. Strength is refusing to let silence take another person. Part 19. A practice for the wave. Grief often comes in waves. When one hits, try this. Put your feet on the floor. Name 5 things you can see. Take one slow breath. Place your hand on your heart if that feels comfortable and say, this is a wave of grief. It is painful. It will change. I do not have to solve everything during this wave. I only have to stay through this moment. Then choose one person to contact. You can write, I am having a hard wave. Can you stay with me on the phone? Stay on the phone with me? Or, I do not need advice. I just don't want to be alone. There is courage in sending that message. Part 20. A letter to the person blaming themselves. I want to speak as though I'm sitting right across from you. You may have replayed the past countless times. You may have built a courtroom inside your mind. You may have acted as the prosecutor, judge, witness, and defendant. And every time, you find yourself guilty. But grief is not a fair judge. It uses information you did not have. It ignores your human limits. It forgets the times that you did not show up, the conversation you had, the meals you shared, the rides you gave, the calls you answered, the love you offered, the ordinary ways you cared. You were not perfect, neither was the person you lost. But perfection was never the requirement for love. You did not cause every pain they carried. You could not control every thought that they had. And you are not required to die emotionally because they died physically. You are allowed to grieve. You are allowed to seek forgiveness for things genuinely regret. You are allowed to forgive yourself. You are allowed to keep living. Part 21. Hope after suicide loss. Hope may sound too large a word right now, so let's make it smaller. Hope is making the next phone call, taking a sip of water, letting someone sit beside you, telling the truth in counseling. Hope is hearing your child laugh and letting yourself feel its warmth. Hope is waking up on the first anniversary and realizing you survived a year you thought would destroy you. Hope means saying the person's name. Hope is remembering their life, not only their death. Hope is accepting that peace and pain may sometimes sit beside each other. Hope is not a promise that grief disappears. It is a possibility that grief will not always affect exactly like this. People who have experienced suicide loss describes healing as a long process, often lived one day at a time, with connections and support helping them carry on what happened. The pain can become difficult. The waves may become less constant. Your life can expand around grief. There can be birthdays, graduations, music, friendship, purpose, love, rest, peace. Not because the person did not matter, because they did. So, why did they do it? You may never have one complete answer. What did you miss? Maybe there was things you could not see, things you could not understand, or things that only appear clear right now. Was it your fault? Regret may be part of your grief, but you are not required to carry total responsibility for another person's private pain and final action. What do you tell the children? Tell them the truth gently. Tell them they are loved. Tell them they did not cause it. Tell them they did not have to take care of the adults. Where do you go? Go towards safe people. Go towards professional help. Go towards peer support. Go towards the people who can sit with the questions. What are you supposed to feel? Whatever is real. Sadness, anger, confusion, numbness, love, relief, fear, every moments of joy. How do you cope? One breath, one meal, one call, one honest conversation, one day at a time. And where is peace? Peace may not be waiting at the end of a perfect explanation. It may begin when you stop demanding that your wounded heart solve every unanswered question before it is allowed to rest. Peace may begin when you say, I love them. I wish they were here. I wish I could change what happened. I may always carry questions, but I am choosing to stay. I am choosing hope. I am choosing to live. To the person listening in fresh grief, you do not have to be strong today. You only must stay. Let someone carry part of this with you. The person who had carried this loss for years. There is no expiration date on the day of love. You're not failing because certain days still hurt. And the person who is thinking about suicide right now, please do not turn this episode into your goodbye. Please. Let it become a moment you tell someone the truth. Call or text 988. You can also use the 988 Lifeline web chat. This is for veterans, first responders, family members, everyone can use this. It is available all the time. It is free. It's confidential. It's there 365 days, 24 hours, 7 days a week. It's there for a reason. Use it. If you believe you may be acting upon immediate or cannot remain safe, please call 911 immediately. Like right now, before this podcast ends, call somebody. If you don't want to call 911, call 988. Move towards another person. Put distance between yourself and anything you could use to hurt yourself. Say, I need you to stay with me. There is no shame in that sentence. There is courage in staying. If you would like to reach out to me about this or about anything else that bothers you, affected you, or you want to talk, you can email me any given time, 24 hours, 7 days a week at cooljoe77@heroobjective.org. I am here. I may not have every answer, but you should not have to carry every question alone. And before we close, take some time to listen to the artist Samuel Woods. Listen to the other songs along with the ones I play here on Healing Connection. Music can give words to feelings we cannot always explain. I want to give you, and I do not do this because I do not try to make people think I'm trying to push religion on them, because I'm not. I stay neutral. It doesn't matter what religious background you are, you can always talk to me. But today, this one kind of spoke to me. It's Revelations chapter 21, verse 4. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death, no more mourning, no crying or pain, for the old orders of things has passed away. Look at that for a while, reminisce on it, but don't dig too deep into it where it'll spin you down a sparring hole and you can't think. Pick a little bit of a part. Talk about it with somebody. It can sit beside us in grief. It can carry us in memory. And sometimes it can help us toward a little peace. Thank you for trusting me with this difficult conversation. Remember the person for their life they lived, not only the way they died. Speak their name. Tell their story. Care for the children. Check on the family after everyone else has gone home. Please take care of yourself too. Your healing does not dishonor them. Your laughter does not erase them. Your peace does not mean you have forgotten. Your decision to keep living can become one way of carrying their love forward. Remember, I will always have your six. Please make sure that you burn rubber, not your soul. Until next time, take care, and I will see you on the flip side.
I try to keep my emotions out of sight. I may look cool, calm and collected, but underneath there are things that I try to hide. Am I okay anymore? 'Cause the world around me says no more. Is it okay for a grown man to cry? Is it okay to ask someone for help? Is it okay to be drowning under pressure? Is it okay to cry? Will I be okay in this world that's filled with hate? Will I give in to thoughts that I cannot escape? Or will I be the one who makes a change?